Hey everyone, welcome to the Duchess of Unicorn YouTube channel. So today I'm just going to be scrolling through the internet like I've been doing for just a couple of weeks now since I started my YouTube channel, and going over some American press that I'm seeing here in the States in reference to Meghan and the royal family. That way, wherever you are, it can kind of counterbalance to see if we're seeing the same stuff or is there some other twist and turn that's happening. And before I get started, of course, my videos are for entertainment purposes only, and they're my opinions. I'm certainly not the know-all to end-all. They're just my views. Do your own research, form your own opinions, and go forth from there. And my videos are for adults, so I don't know, YouTube's been showing me this 13 and under thing, so these videos are for adults, although there's nothing really conspicuous in my videos. There may be a reference here and there, a swear word or something, depends on what's on the internet and what I'm looking at in reference to the royals. So if it's offensive and you're under a 13, hit the road. This is not a video for children. All right, so let's look at, first I'm seeing Express, and it's my browser over here in the States. Meghan Markle went against repeated advice, receiving royal family warning. Ooh, I think this is in retaliation to the palace banning all photos of Meghan in Jennifer Meyer's jewelry. And that's because if it is a retaliation from Meghan's camp against what the royal family did at the palace, I should say the palace issued a statement and demanded that the photos of Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, be taken down that have Jennifer Meyer's jewelry featured on Meghan throughout her many numerous photos and many numerous outings. So I could see already a retaliation from Meghan's camp, Sunshine Sachs, or whomever else, issuing this little article. So it's by Ollie Smith, and it was published December 15th, 2019. And basically, the Duchess of Sussex take a 6-week break from royal duties following a difficult year for the new royal. Yawn. Meghan Markle was warned about marrying into the royal family amid fears over how she is coping with its demands. Speaking on the Jeremy Vine Show, host Anne Diamond discussed how Meghan Markle was given a strong warning ahead of her marriage to Prince Harry. Left-wing journalist Owen Jones had described the media's coverage of Miss Markle as obsessive. And there's a reason for that. But nobody wants to go ahead and follow up in mentioning that right now because that's not the focus of the article. Diamond hit back at Jones saying she was warned. So many people warned her about what happens when you marry into the royal family. You get that sort of publicity. This comes as the Duke of York, Sarah Ferguson, revealed her own sympathies with the embattled royal. And that is a joke as well because Sarah Ferguson is older. She's 60s or something. She's done fine on her own. She's certainly not living in the poor sections. She's not in the ghetto. And she's certainly making money on her experience with the royal family by publishing many books that have to do with her experiences. So she did okay. And it goes to show you can marry into the royal family for love or not and find, your way quite well and do well for yourself. In Meghan's case, we're all trying to determine what her motives are and why we don't see her motives very clearly. Some of us don't. Is because of her actions. Her behaviors and actions speak volumes versus what her mouth is speaking. So when she says, I'm a humanitarian, people are now going to question that because of her actions. Marrying into the royal family is not something you do so that you can have a higher platform. And if you are going to do something like that, you certainly don't hit it aggressively as if you were the CEO of a new company and start to use the royal family, the status of thereof, to promote whatever you're doing. That's not how it works. And if it works like that, you look ugly. So in October, she opened up about the difficulties of public scrutiny and intense tabloid interest. She told ITV's Tom Bradbury that not many people had even asked if she was okay. Well, let me just stop off and say, I think many people aren't asking if she's quote unquote okay because she seems to be doing an awful lot for someone who's not okay. So one would assume you're okay. In other words, she's not doing many official royal duties. Yes, she's the chairperson of this or whatever the terminology is. But what we are seeing is somebody that's doing a lot more of her own income building by merchandising items and products, showing up where she's really not needed or wanted. She's doing a lot more. Look at me, I've got a new foundation. It's called the Sussex Foundation, and nobody knows what it's about. It's seemingly super unofficial. It seems like a way to build a company on the money of the English people or the British people, for a lack of better words, the British people, on the taxpayers there, and monopolizing on the fact that she's married into old money and an old family. And you are royalty. You're not just marrying into an old family, you're married into royalty, which most of the world has come to assume, and not so much since Andrew and Meghan, but assume that it means you're above the general consensus. You kind of live a different way. You want to provide a good overview of what royals are and, be more set aside versus, being like just a rich person who's just busy and who's just constantly being Stepford wife-like. And that is why people don't ask her if she's okay, because she's flaunting around photos on unofficial royalty, British monarchy business. She's not like showing up at Serena's tennis match and wearing, merchandise from Jennifer Myers is not official royal business. Yes, it's on her own time, but she also acts like it's official, like she's merching herself, like she's a celebrity from a movie, some movie or an entertainment person, and she's showing up somewhere, and that's a different story. But when you're in the monarchy, and the British monarchy, as many have come to know, we expect you to just be doing official duties. So if you were to stick with official duties, Meghan, then you would probably more likely be more okay. And I can't say that we know for sure, only you know. But I think you'd be more welcomed. So also, Meghan and Harry, an African journey, the Duchess added, it's not enough just to survive something. That's not the point of life. You have got to thrive. So that right there, she needs to slap back, because you are thriving. And if you don't think that's thriving, by being, able to help so many people and have yourself, an income that's provided without doing much, but some royal duties that are required of you, that you have a paycheck, and that there really isn't much far higher that you can go. Hello, British royalty, if you're in any monarchy, you aren't going to go any higher. That is the top of the glass ceiling, unless you'd like to be God. I just don't know what she expects in terms of thriving. And it makes me believe that when someone has reached that pinnacle, and I don't know if it's success or not, but that pinnacle where you have a platform which is that high and the world is watching, you would think that you would be your more authentic self, relax a little bit, and realize you have the ability to make important decisions and help actual individuals. Not go around to different charities that you think make sense or someone told you to go ahead around to and ask the public to donate to them versus you donating to them. That would be more authentic. Not picking 20, 30, 50, several organizations that are in your pocket for some bizarre reason. I don't know if they've donated to you or one back scratches the other, or someone gave you a list to promote these organizations and you are just going with it because you're not giving out of your pocket. So why the hell not just mention anybody on any charity that somebody hands you a list? That's what it seems like to me. It would be more interesting and more appropriate, I think, to be more authentic than now that you've reached this pinnacle and you're there for God knows what reason, whether it was for love or for, the access to the monarchy. Use it to be authentic and start from scratch. In other words, be authentic and pick one organization or a group of individuals and give out of your own pocket in some way, shape, or form. Whether that means take an organization and work with them to build a bigger facility and that houses more people, or directly give your money to a homeless shelter, or put a fundraiser on to gain the money for a shelter or for the homeless. Really actually see direct results, not pick a list of charities and tell us, the general public, to go ahead and reach into our pockets and give. So we don't care if you're okay. Meghan Markle has admitted she struggled. Yes, we know, but she seems to be doing fine with all that merching of every single thing. Her soul is for sale, but if you were to sell your soul or merchant your soul would be worth nothing because people don't see a value in you. Only people who are selling things to the world see a value in you because they know you're a sellout and that you're willing to sell everything and be that clothes horse or that board for people to pin things on and walk around as a advertisement, a walking, living, breathing advertisement for anybody who is the highest fair price that you're willing to accept. And I have nothing against the Duchess of York. I just think saying that she knows what that is like, I think she's just saying she was ridiculed and pointed at and put on the pedestal, and it was very unpleasant. And I think Meghan is realizing people don't like her. She's not Princess Diana. She's so far removed from Princess Diana, and just because you married her son doesn't mean that we're going to see you as a Princess Diana or better than or doing more than. No, you have 6 charities that you are a patron of that is given to you by the palace or by Queen Elizabeth. 6. You are the lowest of the royal family that is getting these patronage. Can't talk. getting all these jobs to be able to work for charities and to help charities and head up charities. You've got six of them. You also have no royal engagements that you are being put to, very few. So far, you and your husband, Prince Harry, have been speaking about Invictus Games, Travelverse, whatever that company is that he started, the Sussex Foundation. You have a handful of things that you two are working on that involve private business. It's private business and private finances that you can look to gain from. So it's not official palace business. It's not official monarch business. And so that makes me wonder, are you and your husband, Prince Harry, have you alienated Prince Harry because of him marrying you, by alienating him from his family and thus not being sent to a lot of official royal engagements because of you? So, that's kind of what I'm thinking. That's my opinion. We haven't seen that yet, but when we see that, she has had repeated advice but still took on the role, I think she saw the pot at the end of the rainbow before she saw the rainbow. So I'm really not convinced that, I'm not against Meghan, but I'm not convinced that Meghan is actually being her true, authentic self. I had to think how I wanted to say that. And of course, there's always a backlash when somebody who isn't in the clique or isn't being paid, or there's no certain exchange for a good word, when someone speaks their true self and true mind, things erupt. Like Twitter erupts in a fury after Meghan Markle blasted by Stephanie Powers over royal role. Wow. Meghan Markle is not changing the royal family in any positive manner. She's actually making the world look twice and say a couple of things, in my opinion. One, geez, anybody can be a royal if they're let in. I mean, if they're cunning enough to get past the scrutiny of being in the royal family, accepted in the royal family, I guess anybody can get in. Geez, it's not special anymore, Two, the family itself makes you wonder, why do we even need the monarchy? If they want to be so average and so general like the rest of the world and so quote unquote modern, then so be it. Abolish or demolish the British monarchy. In other words, we don't need a British monarchy, just like we don't have a British monarchy, an American monarchy in the United States, which if we did, they would be natives, Native Americans, if you will. They should really be the monarchy of the United States. And if we did have that, we would expect the monarchy to continue their traditions and continue their role in history and continue being better, not worse than. Right now, the royal family is looking, parts of them are looking worse than some of the people that are on the streets, in some of the worst streets, in some of the worst areas, doing some of the worst things. So if they're just average Joes underneath it all, just like the rest of us, and the only thing that sets them above is that they have a long lineage of a bloodline and long money, then just become private citizens and get rid of the tie between the government, the set-up government, and the monarchy. Keep them separate and become private citizens, and nobody's going to care what you really do. Not to the breadth and width that we're seeing with Meghan Markle. And I think a lot of people are saying, I can criticize anybody I want under the First Amendment. I can I can choose to criticize, even constructively, a person in the monarchy, just like I can criticize someone in my presidential government. I can criticize anybody as long as it's fair and as long as it's not in a threatening manner. In other words, you're not wishing anybody to be shot or anything like that. You're just criticizing, saying, you know what you're doing is wrong, or the way you're going about it is wrong. So if you're not being vile about it and you're not being threatening, then you should just be able to say what you will. So a lot of people, I think, don't not like Meghan Markle as a person, but as someone of royalty, they have issue with. Not far behind Andrew. And Andrew is no better or worse than Meghan Markle. Yes, people are going to oppose me saying that, like, oh, she's not, a child rapist, or she's not a pedophile, whatever. I don't care either one of them. For instance, bad is bad, and if you're going to grade people by levels after saying, well, then they're bad, they're doing things the wrong way, or they're wrong, and then you're going to start to have levels of wrong, then you're just trying to thin out that level. Level 1, you're kind of bad, 2 stars, or 5 stars. Level 2, you're 3 stars, or level 4, you're 5 or 6 stars. You shouldn't do that. If you're not up to par, you are not up to par in terms of the monarchy. So at this point, if Andrew steps down, I would suggest that example should be of Meghan Markle as well. And if that can't be, if we see something going on in the early years, then it should be nipped in the bud. And the palace, who are supposed to be royalty and of old knowledge, they should know better than I that Meghan Markle is going to be a continual, forever issue. She's never just going to just melt into the background. She's never going to be, doing things, the right way and not trying to find an angle. She is going to continue to be the way she is behaving today, inauthentic. So if you are concerned about that, then you need to nip her in the bud. Of course, I did read an article that said, I think it was on Blind Gossip, that kind of alluded to somebody in the royal family Meghan having a diary, and that's something that she's been writing down, every single thing that she's been told, seen, or heard, and kind of compiling stuff against them. And they being the higher monarchies, the senior monarchs may be not wanting to ruffle her feathers until there's more leverage. So I think you can find that on Blind Gossip. And if I can remember the link, I'll put it in. But right now, I'm wondering if these are all coming in, the stories kind of magnetizing, and things are coming through from one article. There's a truth being told with this article, and then this piece goes with this current article, a news flash. So, I'm really thinking it's kind of a game. And if you don't want to play a game, then the best thing to do is act with, intention. And I think that if Meghan is not, suitable for the royal family, then I think that the senior royals, need to find their way through. And so what Stephanie Powers said here in this article about Meghan acting like she wants to be a star, and that even if she's a Hollywood type star, which she was a B-level star actress, she didn't make it in 40 years. She's not going to make it, she wasn't going to do any special roles after 40 that made her, win awards. We weren't going to see her at the Emmys. So I think Stephanie Powers is just saying, with that being said, Meghan should just be doing what she was going to do, which was be a wife of a member of the royal family and play her part as the palace, issues you to. In other words, do what they've always been doing. Go on your official tours and do official palace business, and that be that. Nothing more, nothing less. But this is not what they've gotten themselves into with Meghan. And it's sad because the Queen should have seen something like Meghan coming. And she should have had a sense of, she seems like she's a smart woman. She ran a country. She's been the Queen since she was very young. And I just feel like she should have a hyper sense or a hyper awareness, and then her advisors as well have a hyper awareness of someone being cunning, trying to get into the family. And perhaps in the beginning, when Meghan came as her authentic self, perhaps the fame and fortune didn't quite hit her until after she started gaining momentum after being married into the royal family, and she realized, whoa, I'm with old money here. It all went to her head. And so with that being said, I'm just wondering, the Queen, I know she's older, but she has plenty of advisors, and she's been running the monarchy for forever. And I just don't see how she couldn't see someone so blatantly obvious as Meghan Markle coming in out of left field in a really fast engagement and marriage into the royal family, and then securing it with a baby so that she would have some alimony, a check forever and ever and ever and beyond, even if she was to get divorced. So I don't see how this is going to play out, but I feel like it's a chess piece, and there's a chessboard and there's game pieces, and I feel like both the palace and Meghan Markle are on moves here. So I'm really, really not feeling too bad about Meghan feeling pressure after being in the royal family. It's as it should be. And I don't profess to know how much pressure there is. I know I wouldn't want it, but apparently if you're really, really intelligent and you realize you're connected to yourself and you realize that it's not the place for you, then you realize that you move on, like Cressida Bonus did and Chelsea Davy. They move on. They realize that it might not be for them, and they would be better suited in their normal everyday life, even being very wealthy. But when you're super greedy, or you have higher ambitions because you have lower self-worth, you may actually be one in the very few that step into the role that Meghan is now in, and then realize it all goes to your head because you have that inclination to have greed, and it is excessive, and your intentions weren't just to be a wife to a member of the royal family, but your intentions were to be bigger and greater than. So that's what we're seeing, I believe. So that's the American news right now. That's the necklace here, the 3 Meghan Markle royal baby debut, the necklace. That's a Jennifer Meyer. So Jennifer Meyer has made even more money just by default. Just by default. And I'm sure she's not regretting it. I'm sure she's thinking, this was not a bad thing to do after all, even though Meghan allowed me to be thrown under the bus because Meghan couldn't say anything against the palace and Jennifer Meyer because she entered into a side deal with Jennifer Meyers for her jewelry to have been merched by Meghan. And that's why Jennifer Meyer was using all her pictures on her Instagram of Meghan wearing her jewelry. It's made her a tremendous amount of money. Someone like me who doesn't give a flying fig about Jennifer Meyer's jewelry, even though it's very pretty, it would have never been brought to my attention. But because of Meghan merching her Jennifer Meyer's wares, Jennifer Meyer is definitely been exposed. She couldn't get that kind of publicity. There's not a price tag on it. And she really didn't need it because she's doing quite well anyway. Her family is very Hollywood connected. They are Hollywood royalty. And her husband is Tobey Maguire, which is the guy from the Spider-Man trilogies. So he's had that fame. We all know who he is, a little guy. But they are now divorced. So at any rate, Jennifer Meyer didn't need Meghan. But Meghan, I think, saw an in when associating with Jennifer Meyer by merching her wares. She could be part of the in crowd, like Jennifer Aniston and all the other people that are in Hollywood that are friendly or involved with Jennifer Meyer in some way, shape, or form. So even though she'll still never be Jennifer Aniston. Again, another woman that is a real actress with, an A-list actress. Meghan was barely a B-list. She's probably more like a C or D-list, if there's such a thing. And that 40, she was not ever going to really be Jennifer Aniston. It just doesn't happen. I think that's another reason why she put the TIG out there. She's another reason why she went on to, go for the big win with Prince Harry. All right. Thanks for watching. I went a little over the time I wanted to go. I rattled on a little bit, but I hope that you get where I was going with this. I wanted to share some photos, but I don't think that I will. And in my next video, I might cover this whole Christmas thing with the Queen. It's not any new thing that we're hearing, but it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But do watch out for the Royal Sussex Foundation acting all stupid crazy, trying to gain all kinds of ties and donations for money. It's going to remind us a lot like the Hillary Clinton and the Clintons Foundation, and how that's going to kind of roll that way if it doesn't roll political. Because I think that we might see in the long run Meghan kind of cutting out of the royal family and heading into politics over here. Even though I don't know how you can just run for president. Today, again, you can be an actor running for president. You don't need a law degree anymore. You don't need to know anything about anything anymore. You just need to say you do and show up. And so I think that we might be seeing that Sussex Royal Foundation, very similar to the Clinton Foundation, which will fund a lot of their political, or in this case, Meghan's political aspirations. She may be trying to now realize that royal family is not going to work for her. She's going to flip over. And in the long run, in the next few years, you might see her using the foundation as a political vehicle. All right. Take care, and thank you for watching. Please subscribe. I know I'm new. Have some faith. Videos will get better. I'll try not to ramble as much, but it's so hard when there's so many deep, cavernous avenues to take in terms of what is going on with the royal British family, and especially with Meghan in addition to it. So stay tuned and just sub and like. Thank you. And tell me what you think. Am I overrunning on some of my opinions? Do they ring true with you as well? Let me know if you agree on anything or disagree. But please be polite. See you in the next one. Bye.